Fist King, was a title given to the man who subjugated the Jianghu with his bare fists alone. He is a man who is called by this title more than his own name, Fist King Dan Wusong. This is the story Dan Wusong knows as the Fist King. McDan Wusong is fighting a group of heretic. He has been ambushed and heavily wounded, though he kills most of them without any mortal injury. However, 2 heretics still remains. It seems they are the leader of this mysterious group. From their look, Dan Wusong can say that they are pretty skilled, but he don't know which faction they belong to. Dan Wusong makes the first move. He throws a man at them. The man is still alive. He begged to save him. However, the swordsman cuts him without a bit of hesitation. Seeing this, Dan Wusong also gets shocked. How brutal a person can be. The swordsman smiles as he looks at Dan Wusong. There is a symbol on the sword. Dan Wusong seems to recognize it. He glares and asks if they are from the demonic faction. The swordsman gets down and praises Dan Wusong for holding so long. He also says that the title Fist King fits him right. Dan Wusong is furious. He tells him that he will kill him in 10 moves. The swordsman swings his sword and moves forward. Dan Wusong also uses his lighting technique and rushes to attack. He moves like lighting and lands the first blow directly at the stomach. The swordsman vomits blood. Seeing this, Dan Wusong continues his attack and deals 9 blows. However, he feels strange. All his attacks missing the weakest spots. It feels like someone is restraining his moves. Dan Wusong looks up and sees that other man is using strings to divert his moves. As he focuses on the man on the cliff, the swordsman stabs Dan Wusong in the chest. Dan Wusong vomits blood. The swordsman looks at him and tells Dan Wusong that his reign as the Fist King comes to an end. Dan Wusong gets mad and musters all of his strength and launches a final devastating blow. The area shattered, but unfortunately, the swordsman is unharmed. In the last moment, the man on the cliff shifted the direction of the punch and saved the swordsman. The swordsman looks at the destroyed territory and says, "You sure are good at fighting, Fist King." The string man gets down and tells the swordsman that it would have been dangerous. The swordsman then pokes Dan Wusong's head and says, "You should die now." Dan Wusong gives him a punch in the chin and says, "That's the 10th one." After that, his vision starts to get blurry. His strength is leaving his body. Dan Wusong realized that his life as the Fist King has come to an end. Dan Wusong closes his eye with a wish to hit the demonic faction bastard once more. This is how the Fist King Dan Wusong has died at the hands of demonic faction. The scene shifts, and we can see a lighting flash at the Juhua Mountain Safe House. In the manor, a boy slowly opens his eyes. This is Dan Wusong, who has reincarnated. As he wakes up, he sees a lady and wonders where is he. Dan Wusong looks at the surrounding and thinks someone has treated him. He sits up with a huge headache. As he looks at the injuries, he finds none. The lady calls him first young master and offers him a glass of water. While drink, Dan Wusong wonders why this lady is calling him young master. He looks at a mirror and sees his face. He gets shocked and spits out the water. Dan Wusong thinks this is a mask, so he tries to remove it. However, he sees no lining where the mask ends. Seeing this strange behavior, the lady gets out to call a physician. Dan Wusong also gets that this is not a mask. He takes the mirror and observes his face carefully. He wants to know the identity of this face. Dan Wusong sees a book the table. He gets up and takes it, but he can't walk properly. He is like a fawn. Struggling for a while, he sits down on the table and looks at the book. The book has a label named Yunha Merchant Group. Dan Wusong has heard of this merchant group. It's a large merchant group situated near Junia Mountain. They are a pretty large merchant group, since Dan Wusong has also heard of them despite him having nothing to do with merchant groups. He looks into the book and gets that this body's owner is the eldest son of Yunha Merchant Group named Li Jinian, and all his letters are addressed to him are about money, gambling, and women. Seeing this, he gets that this body is a total loser. At first, he thought this is magic. However, he sensed no foreign energy in this body. So he comes to a conclusion that he has reincarnated. At that time, an old man rushed into his room. Looking worried, he approached Jinyan and asked if he is okay. This old man is Gongsun Myung Lee Jinyan's physician. The old man starts to check his pulse, but Jinyan removes his hand and tells the old man that he is fine. Hearing this, the old man he is glad and tells the maids to bring the meal young master usually have. The meal is chicken soup. Dan Woo-sung looks at the bowl and gets that this chicken soup dish called the Dragon and Phoenix soup might be great for those who are healthy, but this is equivalent to poison for someone as sick as Lee Jinyan. Dan Woo-sung feels some strangeness in the old man's behavior before he tried to take Jinyan's pulse stealthily. Dan Woo-sung is sure he thought it was weird that Lee Jinyan was looking healthy. He thinks that this old man is like a snake. Seeing Lee Jinyan refuse to eat, the old man says, "If you eat it regularly, you'll become as healthy as the youths that attend the Dragon Phoenix martial competition." Dan Woo-sung then asked the old man, "How many years has the Dragon Phoenix martial competition gone on for now?" The old man replies, he is not completely sure, but he believes it's around 200 years. Dan Woo-sung then tells the old man to leave the soup and take his leave. He pushed the old man out and closed the door. From the time he gets that it hasn't been long since he died. This is good for him, as the demonic faction bastards will also be alive, and he can take his revenge. And he also has to beat some sense to the snake, like physician of his. Dan Woo-sung is determined that he is going to kill the bastards in one punch this time. It's been few days Dan Woo-sung has reincarnated into the body of Lee Jinyan. He has changed his diet plan and starts to eat lots of protein-type food. The maids are shocked to see this sudden change. Dan Woo-sung also starts to train this body of Lee Jinyan. His techniques seems to show its effects. The maid also starts to notice that Jinyan's body is much better than before. As Jinyan is eating his breakfast, the physician Gongsun Myung comes with a frown face. Jinyan notices this, but in front of him the old man smiles and acts to stay joyful. Jinyan gets this act, and he also tries to catch this snake. He asked Gongsun Myung what he wants. The old man starts to act and says that he hasn't heard about Jinyan for a while, so he has come to see if he is fine. Jinyan takes a sip and asks the old man if he is trying to seduce him with Dragon Phoenix soup. Gongsun Myung gets a shock and tells Jinyan that the soup is a nourishing tonic. Jinyan tells the old man that he thought it was a poison. Gongsun Myung acts shocked and says he is his personal physician, why he would bring poison to him. The old man gets that it's dangerous to stay here, so he tries to leave. Jinyan stops him and gives a dead glare and says, "Physician Gongsun Myung, you came without being called for, and now you say you'll leave without being told to." This words intimated the old man. Jinyan then lightens the mood, saying that he was joking. He asked the old man to write a letter for him. The old man brings a pen and a paper and starts to write what Jinyan dictates. Jinyan says, "Due to Sir Lee Jinyan's severe illness, I must remain in the villa for some time, since this life of mine is so stubbornly long. Please advise on what I should do next." Hearing this, the old man froze. Jinyan asked, why is he not writing? The old man laughs and asked, what is he talking about? Jinyan throws a chopstick with a bit of force that it pierced the wall. There is also a little cut on the old man's neck. Jinyan glares and says, "Hey, old man, I'm not the Lee Jinyan of the past anymore." The old man says sorry and asked what he means. Jinyan says, "First of all, Dragon Phoenix soup. To healthy people, it may be a tonic. But to someone as ill as me, it's as good as poison. You, a physician, must know that." Jinyan asked, did he really think he wouldn't notice him checking his pulse secretly when he didn't die? And most importantly, the old man couldn't even hide his intentions to kill him. Jinian gets that he is not acting alone, so he orders the old man to write down the name of the one who gave him orders in that letter. Getting caught, the old man removes his facade and says, "Even a scoundrel like you has a conscience." As there is no getting away from this, the old man decides to kill Jinian and everyone in this mansion. He takes out a hidden weapon, and as he is about to attack, Jinian strikes first and knocks him out. Dan Woo-sung thinks that this body is pitiful as a single strike make his hands swollen. He decides to recover his strength quickly, so that he can get to the mastermind behind Gong Soon. At that time, Jinian gets a server headache. Memories of Jinian starts flooding his mind. Seeing the memorized Jinian starts to cry. Lee Jinian, the first son of the wealthy Yuna merchant group, was neither as smart as his second brother nor as strong as his third brother. He was just a lacking eldest son. He tried to compensate for his shortcomings with money, but ended up indulging in a depraved life of pleasure. By the time he realized his mistakes and turned back, it was already too late. Having neglected his health, he was sent to this villa. From this memorize of Jinian, Dan Woo-sung gets that the main clan wouldn't care about this place of exile. For Dan Woo-sung, the first problem was being reincarnated without this body's memories. But now, he can finally focus on martial arts. Dan Woo-sung finds that this body is innately gifted. With his past life's knowledge and a few rare elixirs, he could reach a high level in no time. Jinian then turns around and sees a pile of gold coins. With this money, he can get whatever he wants. And the good news is, Gong Sun Ma-young is dead. 1 year later, the maids are cleaning the loan. At that time, Yunha Merchant Group's guard squad, Mok In-seop, comes and says that he has a letter for young master Lee Jinian. The maid shows him that way where the young master is. Mok In-seop goes there and sees Jinian is mediating. He gets shocked to see the physique of Lee Jinian. A few seasons have gone by. In that time, Jinian's energy core manifested, and he engraved all the martial arts required for survival onto this body. To name them, the enlightened mobility art, the enlightened body art, the rapid stride, and an art that allows Jinian to control lightning, the white lightning 10-phase art. So far, he has reached the 4th phase. Everything has gone smoothly. At that time, Mok In-seop of the guard squad comes and greets the young master. He has brought a letter to him from the main clan. Jinian tells him to give the letter. Mok In-seop can't believe his eyes. The frail-ass Jinian has turned into real martial artist. Both of them then sits and Jinian reads the letter. His father has collapsed and is bedridden now. However, the letter didn't mention about the illness of his father. He asked this to Mok In-seop. The guard replies that this is because of Aoyang clan. Thier Merchant Group has been paying tributes under the pretext of protection fees, but those payments snowballed and have now become unbearable. Jinian asked In-seop what the Aoyang clan has done to raise the fees. In-seop gets mad and says, "Nothing at all. Those dogs." Even when the little deity sect tried to impose ridiculous trade taxes recently, the Aoyang clan simply said, "We only meet with the main clan of the Yuna Merchant Group if there's a serious issue." And they did nothing at all. In-seop also says that their guard captain couldn't even protest, because this is Aoyang Hu they are talking about. Aoyang Hu. Even Dan Woo-sung has heard of him. He's well known in the Jianghu. He's strong enough for someone like the Fist King to know of him. Jinian tells In-seop that he will deal with him and resolve this problem. In-seop takes this as a joke. After that, In-seop tells Jinian about the second reason the head of the Yuna Merchant Group has collapsed. He says that the head collapsed as he saw the sword fight between the second and third young masters. Jinian asked In-seop if his father had collapsed out of anger. In-seop replies, yes. Jinian gets frustrated and tells In-seop that he may keep the letter. Saying this, he gets up and tells that he will go there himself. After that, Inseop returns to his squad and tells everyone about the change of the first young master. As he tells this, everyone starts to laugh and make fun of Jineon. A squad member says, "If that scoundrel is a martial artist, then he is a legendary martial master." While they are making fun of Jineon, their vice leader, Han Yap arrives there, and he seems happy to hear that the first young master has recovered his health. He punishes the squad member and tells them that first young master always had a physique for martial arts. Han Yap asked Inseop when the young master is coming back. Inseop tells him that he don't know for sure. He only knows that the young master is coming alone. At that instance, an member announces the arrival of the young master. This shocked everyone. They are not even willing to greet him. Han Yeop moves first and tells everyone to come along with him. Jineon has arrived at the manor gate. He is mesmerized to see the well-decorated estate. Before he enters, he tells his maids to take a leave and visit their home. After that, he enters and starts to walk forward. He gets surprised to see nobody is there to congratulate him. At that instance, the guard squad members arrive and welcomes the young master. They congratulate him for his return. The vice captain Han Yeop introduced himself and says he almost couldn't the first young master. The members seeing this questioned about the vice captain having no pride at all. In the past, the young master used to look down on him, and yet he is treating him so well. The members feel sorry for their vice captain, as they think he will humiliated this time also. However, Jineon shows respect and thanks everyone for this welcoming. This shocked the members. They can't believe the good-for-nothing really greeted them. Inseop tells that the young master has changed. Han Yeop also smiles as he feels happy to see this change. Everyone can feel that the first young master is not the enemy but an ally. As they get in, Han Yeop tells Jineon that he has already informed his coming to the head. At that moment, the best third son of the EUNHA merchant group, Lee Jae-eon, comes. He comes and tells Jineon a perverted person. Jae-eon also tried to intimidate Jineon, but he failed. Han Yeop thinks something bad will happen again, as in the past, Jae-eon used to bully Jineon. Han Yeop steps in and removes Jae-eon's hand from Jineon and politely suggests them to sit and talk while having a drink. Upon getting touched by Han Yeop, Jae-eon slapped Han Yeop and shouts at him. Jae-eon looks at Jineon and says that he will also have to teach him a lesson. At that time, Jineon touches Jae-eon's face and slaps him hard. This makes Jae-eon fall on the floor. This surprised Jae-eon. Jineon approaches Jae-eon and grabs his shoulder tightly and squeezes harder. Jae-eon calls him an insane bastard. Jineon presses more and tells Jae-eon that he should call him Big Brother. The scene shifts to Lee Hwa-eon, Yunha Merchant Group's second son, also known as the Overseer. He notices that everybody is running towards his father's room. "What is all this ruckus?" he asks. The soldier explains that there was an argument between the first and third young masters. After hearing it, he is certain that the third son must have harassed the first son again somehow. He barges in quickly in order to save his older brother, but the scene he sees before his eyes is the complete opposite of what he imagined. This time, the first son is teaching some manners to their youngest brother. He gets completely baffled. After some time, all three brothers are having a conversation. Lee Hwa-eon sees that Lee Jineon is in good health, but his hands are bandaged, so he asks whether their little brother is responsible for that. Without answering the question first, Lee Jineon keeps on beating Lee Jae-eon, reminding him that he shouldn't wield a sword against his older brother if he doesn't want a beating. Meanwhile, the youngest is remembering his good old days, when his older brother used to be weak, and he can make him do whatever he wanted. Lee Hwa-eon asks the eldest whether something happened at the safe house because he seemed like a completely different person. Lee Jineon praises the second for his good eyes. Then he notices some scrolls. He asks, "What's this?" Lee Hwa-eon says it's the list of employees he needs to take to the conference tomorrow. Jineon then searches for the name of the person who recommended his personal physician. He sees that the person who recommended all these people, from the vice guard squad leader to the front gate, guards is Yang-hu. He smirks because he has already expected it. "If any of you are working with the Aoyang clan, tell me right now," Jin speaks in a cold voice. Both of his brothers earnestly refuse, and the youngest shouts that he would rather die than see some other clan member take over their business. He also says that the Yona Merchant Group is a precious business that father worked hard to grow, mentioning Jin as Sir. Jin says that he is glad. He thinks that he won't need to kill them then. "Are all the higher-ups going to be attending the conference tomorrow?" he asks. After hearing the answer, yes, from the second, he immediately leaves the room to meet his father while saying that he will be attending the conference too. After his departure, Hua Ian asks what happened at the safe house. The youngest shouts, saying that he should have gone to the safe house at Juhua Mountain instead of his brother. Then we see Lee Seong-min, the Yunhei Merchant Group's leader, lying in the bed. Jinion, he heard that his father is not doing well because of stress. Seong-min that he has always been under stress, but now his old body can't really handle it anymore. He touches Jin's face with care while saying that he has changed a lot, and his face also looks different too. Nevertheless, he is glad to see that his child is doing well. The Fist King grew up without parents, so he doesn't know what having a father is like, but in Lee Jinion's memories, his father was a really great and big person. When did such a person get this small, he wonders. Jinion tells his father not to worry because he has found a cure for his stress. He says that they just need to eliminate the cause of his stress. He reassures his father, saying that he will handle it so he doesn't need to worry. "Why is my son smiling like that?" Seong-min wonders. The next day, at the conference of Yunha Merchant Group, Yang-hu, the Yuna Merchant Group's guard squad leader, and his squad sees the eldest son is attending the conference this time. "What is he doing here?" one of them asks. Ouyang says that maybe Jinion is worried about his position in the group. Amidst the conference, Ouyang raises his hand to share his opinion. He says that he heard that the first young master still doesn't have a guard despite coming back. He says that he has someone he can recommend. Goodness. Half of the Yuna Merchant Group already consists of people from the Aoyang clan. "Doesn't he know when to stop?" one of 10 higher-ups whispers. Ouyang simply interrupts their conversation, breaking the glass, saying that his hands slipped. He then asks, "Is there anyone who has something to say in regards to his suggestion?" Jin raises his hand, saying that he has complaints. He stands up and walks near the squad leader, saying that he would like to make a suggestion too. A suggestion to fire the guard squad leader, Yang-hu. Everyone in the conference starts to laugh. Meanwhile, Aoyang gets angry. He tells Jinion that he must have forgotten because he has been bedridden for so long. But firing someone, that's not something he has say over. Without lingering, Jinion showcases his strength by breaking the table with his bare fists and even cracked the ground, intimidating everyone. Lee Jinion speaks with confidence. "Squad leader Ouyang, you must have forgotten because you've gained some influence, but the Yuna Merchant Group belongs to me." Previously, the brothers had a conversation regarding this General Assembly. Lee Jinion says that he is attending the assembly in order to dismiss Guard Captain Ouyang. Huayan says that, honestly, they are just a merchant group. The Ouyang clan are out of their league to mess with. In reply to that, Jin asked his younger brother whether he knows what happens when a martial artist of the Jianggu is underestimated. He explains that the one making such an assumption gets devoured, telling him to look at the current state of the Yuna Merchant Group. "Don't you think it's being devoured right now?" Jin asked. Huayan sees that it's the fact, and he didn't even notice it until now, that they are getting surrounded by Ouyang clan members day by day. At that moment, Jin speaks that he, as the older brother, will handle this. At present, Huayan is seeing the situation being handled, but he didn't expected this approach. The Ouyang clan members draw their sword against Jin, and it angers the guards of the Yuna merchant group. So, they stand before Jin Eon in order to protect him. Well, this time, Lee Jin Eon shows his true colors. He gets enraged, saying that it was truly insolent seeing the guards drawing their swords against their employer. He says that maybe the guards have a death wish, but since he is firing their captain, which he truly feels bad about. So he will mislook their behavior as a compensation for ruining their retirement plans. He starts to reveal some truths regarding the captain. Jin says the captain had physician Gongsun Mayung assassinate him when he left to recuperate and instigated a clash between his second and third brothers. When there's bad blood between siblings, everything becomes much easier. Thanks to that, their father collapsed. Jin tells Ouyang that if he had just swayed one of the sons, he could have taken over the Yunhei merchant group without lifting a finger. The captain tries to laugh it by saying that it's pure delusion, but then Jin reveals another part of the story. He says that the very Gongsun Mayung, who should have killed him, died by his hand instead, and that's where his fate started changing. Gongsun Mayung died by your hands? Ouyang asks. Jin tells him not to be sad because he sent the physician off in a single strike. Moreover, he tells the captain that if he wanted to devour a major merchant group, he should have worked harder. Then he says that he should also file claims for the damages caused. Immediately after getting caught, the captain tries to sneak attack, condensing his mana in his fists. But to his surprise, Jin counters it with lightning energy. All of them bear witness that their young master knows and has learned martial arts. Is it even okay for you to strike me, who just finished recuperating? Jin asked. Then he replies saying that maybe it'll be all right since this is an official duel. Ouyang feels enraged. He announces telling the guard, squad, and Ouyang clan witnesses to bear testimony. With young master Jin Eon's consent, they shall proceed with an official duel. Is that good enough? Ouyang asks. Jin replies while correcting him that it will be a life-or-death duel. The captain says that it seems young master Jin Eon has studied under an impressive sect, since in such a short time his level of skill has become quite decent. However, Ouyang says while attacking that Jin falls short in terms of experience, and he will make sure Jin knows the difference between their experience. Jin easily dodges the attack with a never-changing countenance, as if he is bored playing with kids. Jin says that Ouyang is a 100 years too yearly to be talking about experience. He condenses his lighting energy in his fist and launches a straight attack, which makes an impressive, impactful damage. His opponent can feel its strength right at his stomach. Now, the look in Jin's eyes is telling that he is about to get serious. He tells the captain that he will show him what true difference in experience looks like. Thus, he uses enlightened mobility art and quickly covers the distance between him and the enemy. He starts attacking violently without giving any time to think. Ouyang is feeling that something isn't right. This doesn't feel like someone who just learned martial arts. It feels like he is facing a seasoned martial master. The guard captain reveals his three-form sword art, which can be said his finishing move, but Jin, on the other hand, uses rapid stride in order to close the distance and finishing his opponent while breaking the cliff. Miles away, his father bear witness that his son appears to have learned martial arts. After the defeat of Ouyang, the guards come running to take care of their captain. All of them are angry, and one of them says that young Master Jin Eon's duel had no irregularities. He testified to that. However, from now on, if the Ouyang clan continues to demand revenge through duels, the Yunhei merchant group will have no way to avoid those. Lee Jin Eon, on behalf of the group, says that it's fine. He never hoped to be free from grudges anyway. If there is kindness shown, he will repay it. If there is a grudge, he will also pay it back. If anyone takes issue with that, the responsibility will be mine alone, not the Yunhei merchant groups. Huayan refuses, saying that it's too dangerous. Lee Jin Eon, the oldest son, speaks while everyone listens in silence. He reminds them that he said, The Yunhei Merchant Group is his. It is also his father's. It belongs to the guard squad who welcomed back a discarded young master early in the morning, and it belongs to the stable hands who feel joy just watching him eat. So their Yunhei Merchant Group has no intention of being toyed with by outsiders like them. Then he fires all of them. This speech of his warms the heart of the members in his group, while it angers the members of the Ouyang clan. One of the guards starts to celebrate, but the others stop him by saying that they shouldn't celebrate yet. They should be ashamed as the guard squad for standing by and watching. Jin calls Huaiyan chief administrator and tells him to buy an elixir. I said I'd take responsibility, so I should at least get that much support, right? Jin questions sarcastically, trying to make the situation lighter after such an intense battle. The chief administrator says that since it's for his brother, he will prepare the best quality tonic because buying elixir and hiring new guards. Jin will be busy from now. About the guard squad, Jin says that he already has someone in mind. A few days ago, on the first day of Li Jinian's entry into the Yuna Merchant Group, he was having a scroll with the vice captain. He asked the captain whether he had lunch. The captain replies with a no because he has been working since dawn. He got angry, thinking that some people don't even have time to eat because of work, while others are slacking off during working hours. They must have it easy. They're living off of others' money, after all. He thinks that they really should root them all out, referring to the members of the Ouyang clan. While thinking about it, a problem arises. Jin realized that he needs people to fill in their gaps when they are gone, so he went to a place where he usually goes to bet. Upon his entry, everyone thought that the young master has come to waste his money again. The guard also taunts him, asking, "Are you here to make another generous donation again?" Jin ignores the guard and enters the room to see Poisonous Fox Chul Myungho, along with his personal guards Yuk Jinbo and Yuk Myungbo. They also welcome Jin Eon. Their boss, Chul Myungho, calls them heartless because they didn't greeted his friend who recovered recently properly. He tells them that they should at least ask, how is Jin Eon doing these days? Li, Jin Eon, and Chul Myungho have been friends since childhood. Even if that friendship included one-sided violence and financial exploitation. The Fist King thinks that it looks like the current definition of the word friend is a bit different among young people. You're back after a long time, have some fun. You must be itching for action after all that time you spent recuperating? Aren't you? Chul Myungho asks. Actually, he was the one itching, since he had no pushover to suck money from. Additionally, he says that to celebrate the return of the Yuna Merchant Group's young master, Jin Eon, he will treat him to something big. He tells Jin that he is getting angry because Jin has been quiet for a long time. Then, Jin speaks just 3 words that he is thinking. He is thinking whether he should kill Myungho or not. Well, on second thought, what he needs isn't Chul Myungho. Those twin brothers are the only ones doing all his chores. According to Jin, they probably live as thugs under him, and they're too valuable to rot under Chul Myungho. After thinking through about this, he says that he has decided. First, he tells Myungho to hand over the vault key. Myungho gets confused as the only reason for asking the vault key is for money. Jin makes it clear that for now, cash will suffice. He starts calculating. First, there are the thousands of Nayang he was forced to invest in this gambling den, the interest, the extorted money, and his medical bills from getting beaten up by Myungho. All of this included, he thinks about 100,000 yang should be fair. After hearing this, Myungho couldn't control his laughter. He stands up as he says that the vault not only has 100,000 yang, it also contains jewelry, gold, and silver. But there's nothing in there for Jin. He says that if Jin needs money, he should just ask, and Myungho will lend it to him. What's with sudden ask for the vault key? And why have you been ignoring me this whole time? Myungho asks. He orders the twin brothers to pin Jin down and give him a straight beating. Without further delay, the action starts, with one of the brothers gripping Jin. But mere moments later, they find out that Jin's wrist gripping is actually stronger as he lifts his opponent and throws him towards the door. Another one starts to attack, but Jin, the ex-Fist King, having more experience, he easily breaks the bone of his enemy's ankle. In the next moment, it's surprising to see that both of them, after getting beat severely, are still able to stand up. Jin notices that both of them had their wrists and ankles shattered, yet there's not a hint of fear in their eyes. They're undoubtedly the real deal. Now that, he has checked both of them. He stops playing around. He says while making them unconscious that just as he expected, these two are too valuable to just let them rot away. Jin starts to smirk because all that's left now is his dear friend Myung-ho. Myung-ho tells Jin that if should have said something if he was learning marital arts instead of arithmetic. Jin notices a knife in Myung-ho's hand. "You're usually quick on the uptake, so what's going on?" he asks. Myung-ho calms himself by thinking that his opponent is none other than the pushover Jinyeon. So he decides to attack, saying that the one who strikes first wins. But mere moments later, he realizes that he was delusional since he takes the first hit and gets beaten up here and there. Jinyeon smiles, saying that second strike wins, before using the electrifying his opponent. Meanwhile, the gatekeeper hides himself and is thinking that someone's gonna get killed for real today. After some time, Jin tells Myung-ho to wake up. Myung-ho smiles as he says that he is fine, even after taking the hits. In the meantime, while lying on the ground, he is thinking, what the hell did Jinyeon did during his recovery time? Did he fake it and secretly train instead? No way. Did he do all that just for revenge? That's when he realizes that he's done for, since Jin is totally out for revenge. Myung-ho chances his attitude very swiftly. "Hey, buddy, besides the key, is there anything else you want? Just say the word," he says in a sweet voice. He says that he did beat Jin a little, but still they are friends because they share a special bond. He hugs Jin, while saying that from now on, he will never beat him up or shake him down. Jin tells him to let go or else he might puke. Myung-ho repeats with a smile on his face that they are real friends. No, in fact, they are sworn brothers. To make it more genuine, he also tells the twin to treat him with respect like a big brother and to congratulate Jin on his change too. The two brothers who were previously beaten up congratulates Jin, saying that he has gotten strong. Myung-ho smirks, thinking Jin has a tendency to wag his tail the moment someone acts like his friend. He thinks that once he is out of this mess, he is taking the twins and getting out. As long as it's just them, settling down will be easy. Once you call someone your sworn brother, it's for life, you twins. Okay with that? Jin asks. The twin looks at Myung-ho. Myung-ho asks them, why are they looking at him? They are brothers now, so the answer should be obvious. The twins vow that, from now on, they will serve Jin as their big brother. Well, now that the situation is fully staged, Jin reveals his true intention by saying that now that they are brothers, they need to select the eldest brother. He tells the twin to wait outside. He and Myung-ho will decide and tell them afterwards. Myung-ho flinches for a moment, and just like that, he is left alone by the twins. By this time, Myung-ho has already gotten a hint about what Jin was really after. It wasn't money, it wasn't the keys of the vault, it was the twin brothers. Jin says that from now on, he will lead the twins and train them properly. Myung-ho countenance changes. He tells Jin to take all of his assets instead. You beat me up out of nowhere, and now you're taking the twins too. What do you expect me to do? Go out and get beaten to death, he shouts, telling Jin to kill him. Without hesitating for a moment, Jin starts to beat Myung-ho ruthlessly, and this time, it actually is hurting Myung-ho since he coughs blood. He realizes that this is where he dies. He shouts asking not to kill him, and he will give the keys. Then Jin just throws Myung-ho out towards the twin. The twin asks Myung-ho, whether did he lose? Myung-ho replies that he lost, so from now on, they should serve Jin-yeon as their big brother. He feels so embarrassed saying that he could cry. He thinks that the twins are probably better off in a place like Galaxy Merchant Guild, also known as Yuna Merchant Group, than in a dump like this gambling den. But he has grown attached to them since they followed only him all this time. Some tears comes out of his eyes, but it quickly gets dry as the twin brothers accepted the outcome without hesitating. Myung-ho calls them heartless. After that, as he comes out of the den, he gets ambushed by many people because he now doesn't have the brothers to protect him. Myung-ho has already accepted his fate. He tells them to come at him with everything they have got. This time, he is certain that he's gonna die. But to his surprise, the ones who were coming at him gets blown away as if along the wind. In that moment, Jin-yeon shows up. He tells the people that they couldn't look Myung-ho in the eyes before. Now they are ambushing him just because he got betrayed. He says that if someone wants to kill Myung-ho, then they have to go through him. Myung-ho quickly gets out because he can't stand that Jin-yeon is acting cool now. Later, the twin brothers, while working, says thanks to Jin-yeon for saving and sparing their brother, Myung-ho. Anyone who's been to this gambling den always wondered why the twins followed Cheol Myung-ho. Some said they were sold here as slaves, others said they followed him out of fear. Even Jin, by Sol the Fist King, used to think that, but now he has realized that they weren't sold as slaves, and it wasn't out of fear either. He says that even in a second life, reading people's hearts is still hard. Meanwhile, from the back, a mysterious person is shocked to see that Lee Jin-yeon had changed this much. With this, Galaxy Merchant Guild has acquired 2 new workers, and they are massive. At Galaxy Merchant Guild, Jaeyeon nags that ever since Jin-yeon came back, there hasn't been a single peaceful day. Just the other day, he brought back a ton of money out of nowhere, and now he's dragging in 2 big guys. Suddenly, he hears galloping of horses. Hwayeon handles all these jobs, foreseeing goods and other stuffs. He tells the workers to leave the cart over there and to be careful with the things since there are important goods inside. Meanwhile, Jaeyeon is mesmerized seeing the quality of the elixirs. He sees that even the rare elixirs people line up at dawn to get their hands on are here. I ordered them. Their father speaks up from the back. Hwayeon shouts, telling his father that going outside is still too much for his health. Lee Seong-min says that he is feeling much better. Father, what are you going to do with all these elixirs? The youngest asks with enthusiasm, wanting to hear a pleasant answer. He thinks that his brother Jin-yeon only asked for 1, but their father bought this much. Surely there might be some for him too. Soon enough, his optimism shattered as Seong-min says that these are all for his brother. For Big Brother? All of this? He shouts. That's right. You think just 1 elixir's going to change our fate? His father asks. He says that considering how much they have spent on the Gu family and the lesser immortal sect, this isn't even a huge expense. Moreover, he has also sent letters to the heads of their regional branches, old friends, and the great merchants he respects, told them that they are buying high-quality elixirs in bulk to overcome their company's crisis. In addition, he says that if their company falls, they'll suffer too, so they'll take it seriously. Lee Seong-min says that bringing Gu Yang-hu in as captain of the escort was his mistake, so he needs to at least clean up that much. The vice captain replies, saying, "That's a wise decision. Sir, the young master is sure to become a great warrior." Hwayeon also agrees to it, saying that their big brother is amazing. All of them started signing praises of Jin-yeon, all while ignoring Jaeyeon. This is great. What a perfect opportunity. Lee Seong-min says while smirking that he finally gets to blow through all the money he has saved up his whole life. Jaeyeon gets really confused seeing the sudden change in attitude of others. Later, he is getting pissed off thinking about the incidents earlier. Father? What about me? What about my elixir? He asked. Seongmin answer his question with another question. Do you even need one? Seogmin asks. At present, Jae-eon is getting insane as wherever he goes. It's always Jineon, Jineon. Why does he get an elixir and I don't? He asks himself. He says that it's discrimination and thinks, what kind of miraculous encounter did my brother have? As he is thinking about it, he feels someone approaching him, so he looks back and sees that it's Jineon running at high speed while saying that he is out for a walk. A walk? Jaeon repeats, thinking that how can someone call it a walk when he is dragging a massive boulder along with him? By seeing it, he realizes that his big brother is really putting the effort. For some reason, he now has a determined look in his face. He starts training again, all while reminiscing the scenes of when his brother defeated the captain of Uyang clan. He gets a little depressed that his sword style doesn't feel and matches like his brother's. Suddenly, his brother spawns out of nowhere, so he gets startled. Jineon gives the Jaeon the sword, telling him to try replicating it with your sword because he copied Gu Yanghu's final move pretty well. It angers the youngest, because he now knows that his brother was watching him the whole time. He then shows the final move again, and he is pretty satisfied with the outcome, but Jineon says that that's how sloppy Gu Yanghu's stab was. Jae-eon loses his cool and looks back, but instantly he is greeted with a punch, which he is able to block. The attack doesn't stop there. Jin continues to attack while mentioning Jae-eon's shortcomings. He says that Jae-eon let his guard down once he closed the distance. Jae just panicked and just kept defending. The youngest tells Jin to stop suggesting that they should talk this out, but he sees that Jin isn't listening. He then thinks that screw it, whatever happens, happens, he should just try beating Jin. So, he charges straight at his opponent, but he sees that Jin has disappeared right in front of him. Jin sneaks in from the back, saying that when people lose control and get backed into a corner, they tend to pull of their best move. With this, their cute little sparring ended. Jae-eon feels that he almost died once. Jin explains that stabbing has a lower hit rate than slashing. Plus, Gu Yanghu's move, the threefold transformation sword, was a one-strike kill technique. He had no choice but to be cautious with his thrust, and if he can move faster than that split second, the outcome's already decided. Honestly, the Fist King from his past life wouldn't have even given a guy like Gu Yanghu, previously known as the captain of Ouyang clan, the time to draw his sword. But now, his current body doesn't even have half the strength it did in his Fist King days. So there's no way he can be satisfied with defeating someone like Gu Yanghu. Not to mention that even he, the Fist King, failed to surpass some people. He had decides that this won't do. He has to become stronger than ever before, beyond comparison. One of the maid informs Jin that he has a visitor. Jin leaves the fighting areas after flicking Jae-eon's forehead. Later, we see three people having a conversation. One of them is Gu Wung. He says that he saw it with his own eyes. He was totally drunk the other night, passing by Cheol Myongho's gambling den, and then he saw Lee John with a healthy body. So what? One of the asks. He replies that then he puked, and when he looked again, their young master was gone. Two of them didn't believe in Gu Wung and opened the door, expecting that they should see their young master still the same as ever. Immediately after opening the door, they closed it. All of them gets utterly shocked. This is too much for them to handle. They say that Jin is so indifferent. Amidst their conversation, Jin opens the door with a scary look in his face. He orders the maid named Myo Yang to take the twins to the common dining hall. They'll eat a lot, so he tells her to give them the big dishes. Lastly, he tells them who, without informing, opened the door to come inside.
The self-proclaimed four heavenly kings of wine and women. At first, we have Murim Alliance hopeful, Sima Gyuk. Then we have a person who has irritable bowel syndrome and repeated exam taker, named Ju Jaryang. Then the West Wind escort establishment, the youngest heir to his household, Gu Ung. Lastly, The infamous heir of the Yunhe merchant group, Li Jinian. These are the members of the group. They had all gathered, having heard the unbelievable rumor that their pushover friend had returned. Well, Jinian can't handle these self-proclaimed friends again. Li Jinian remembered seeing these guys before. They always hung out, talking about liquor and women. We heard you were back. Are you all right? Zhu Jiaryang asks. Jin replies that he is fine. Jiaryang says that he is looking more than fine. In fact, he is looking intense, with all the muscle in his body. Gu Ung, who previously saw Jinian after the battle, asks Jin whether he trains in secret. Sima Guk, on the other hand, realizes that someone can't reach this level through training alone. He is certain that this is martial arts. They say that. They heard the rumor that Jin fought and defeated Ouyang Hu. Who taught you martial arts? They ask, saying that there's no way Jin learned that on his own. Jin replies that he just got lucky. As they are having a conversation, Jin speaks up with a serious voice. He says that Li Jinian, that guy, is dead, referring to his previous self. Everyone seems a little confused and annoyed, but they decide to ignore the question. Jiaryang asks Jin, what's his next plan? Jin says that he has got debts that are tied to his sect to repay. He will help with the merchant group while preparing for that. Then he speaks with a cold look in his eyes. He says that he is not interested in anything but getting stronger. Two of them start sweating in this tense moment. Did we walk into the wrong house? Gu Ung whispers, while Sima Guk retains his calm expression, reminiscing the past. Previously, Sima and Jin had a conversation. It was before Jin going to seclusion. Sima suggested Jin to use this time to recover, study, and change. By listening to the word change, Jin replied that if he can change, that would be great. Presently, he congratulates Jin for his new change. Zhu Jiaryang adds that it's really worth celebrating. Well, the Fist King smiles, thinks that it turns out that even Jinian had real friends. While pouring a glass, Jin says that he has changed, no doubt about it. But what about you guys? He asks. They reply that if they were the type to change easily, they wouldn't be them. They decide not to talk about it today. They all thought they were frogs in a well, but it turns out one of them already climbed out and saw the world. Their conversation ended at night with congratulating Jin for his transformation. Three of them walk away waving their hands. Gu Ung speaks that of all of them, the worst screw-up is the one who came back all grown up. So it kind of feels like youth is over. Gyuk says that he is feeling unusable lonely today, so he should go. Where to? A brothel? Jiaryang asks. Sima shouts that he means home, and he tells Jiaryang to study because he always fails. Jiaryang replies that he has told 1,000,000 times that it's not that he is bad at studying. He is just terrible at exams. At the same time, at Sweet Scent House, the little deity sect leader Yomji Sang becomes outrageous while hearing the news that Ouyang Hu is dead. Is the heir of the Yunhe merchant group that strong? He asks. The Ouyang clan member relies, saying, yes, it didn't even go past 30 exchanges. Jinian crushed their captain. What weapon did he use? The leader inquires. The member replies that Jin used his fists only. Yom Jisang says that it's a disgrace for a swordsman to lose to a young martial artist who only used his fists. What about revenge, sir? The disciple asks. Jisang says that they can't seem revenge over a fair and open duel. The disciple shouts, telling the leader that he should reconsider since they were friends. Immediately, Yom Jisang slices the neck of the disciple, asking who the hell befriends a corpse? He then gets information from a messenger. that Yunha Merchant Group is refusing to pay taxes now, and they have killed Uyanghu? How should they take this? He asks. One of his men replies that it means Yunha Group isn't acknowledging the little deity sect. Will you kill them? One of the members asks. Yomjisang replies that they can't go around killing people just like that since they are not gangsters. Meanwhile, 3 of the heavenly kings enter the sweet scent house in order to have a drink, even though their friend has changed. As they are passing, Sima Guk hears Yomjisang saying that he wants the money of Yunha Merchant Group. His man says that the old man, Li Seongmin, is a master negotiator. There's a rumor he's richer than people realize. Jisang replies that it makes someone wonder just how. How much would the young heir of such a merchant group be worth? Without a moment hesitation, Sima Guk ran and meets Jin to tell him what happened. Jin replies that, "It's so touching. It's seriously tearing him up, especially since Guk came back this late." Jin remembers about the little deity sect from the previous fight. "Where are those people now?" he asks. Guk replies that they are probably at their base now. Jin invites Guk to come inside for now. He gives Guk a black robe-like cloth to disguise himself and tells him to wear it. "What even is this, and where are we?" "Anyway," Guk asks. Jin replies that it's the guard squad's warehouse, and they are going to their enemy's base, and they will be back before breakfast. Guk shouts, saying that it's just the 2 of them, and there will be the entire little deity sect. Jin replies that it doesn't matter, and that's the reason why they are moving first. Guk was about to say something, but he was stopped. "Hey, Murim Alliance hopeful, lead the way," Jin says. Later, at little deity sect's base. Jin sees from the top of a house that there are countless guards, so this has to be the place. He gets down and tells Guk, and his job here is done. The inside is swarming with their guards. "How are we supposed to get in? Got some genius plan?" Guk asks. Lee Jin-eon, also known as Dan Wusong, the Fist King, breaks the door and barges straight into the enemy territory alone, saying that for today he would just do it what he used to do in his past life. Dan Wuseong had never backed down from a fight since he was a child. Not even back when he was a young orphan, or while surviving in the martial world. Not even when he rose to the title of King of Fists with nothing but his fists. Dan Wuseong was always a man who enjoyed fighting. Jin-eon kicks the gate and opens it. This alarms all the martial artists in the ground. He walks straight into them and asks, "Where is their leader?" The martial artist gets angry and calls him a lunatic. Jin-eon quickly grabs his neck and twists it. He then warns everyone not to make him repeat his question. Seeing the others gets agitated. Hearing the ruckus, the manor master comes out and asked about the noise. Jin-eon replies that he is an assassin and asks the man if he is the head of the lesser immortal sect. The man wonders, who the hell is this guy? This is the first time he has seen an assassin making such a flashy entrance. The man then focuses on the bruises on Jin-eon's hand and recalls what his subordinate told him about a man beating them with only fist. He then asked Jin-eon if he is from the Yunhe Merchant Group. Jin-eon shouts, "What if I am?" The man gives a sinister smile and says, "To think someone so important would show up personally. In that case, I won't hold back." Saying this, the guards throws net to capture Jin-eon. However, he dodges that in time. This scene makes Jin-eon recall about the time he had with the group of demonic faction. Jin-eon grabs the net and swings it. However, he finds it hard to move as he wants. Even with that difficulty, he attacks and knocks off many enemies. Jin-eon smiles, and he finds this fun. He attacks continuously and makes a bloodbath. He was killing mercilessly. Seeing this, the rest of the martial artist gets scared. Seeing the pile of dead bodies, everyone wonders who is this monster. At that instant, an arrow comes and scars the face of Jinyon, revealing this face. Jinyon removes the blood and says, "That a fancy weapon." The lesser immortal sect head says that don't like using expensive stuffs, but he will make an exception for him. After that, the rest of the martial artist grabs Jinyon's leg and holds on tightly. The man shouts, and some people with crossbow in their hand comes. The head laughs and tells Jinyon even if he is good with his hands, he will not be able to block this. Saying this, he orders to fire. The men shots the arrows. Rain of arrows are pouring toward Jinyon. Seeing that the head didn't care, even for his own people, Jinyon thinks the dark blade would be speechless seeing this. At that time, a dagger comes to Jinyon. He grabs it, and with a single attack, he deflects all the arrows. The head gets nervous to see this. The dagger was thrown by Jinyon's friend. Jinyon turns and smiles at him for giving the dagger in time. After that, Jinyon throws the dagger at the man. The man is able to dodge it, but he gets a slight cut in this neck. Jinyon gives a dead glare and says, "I don't usually use a blade, but I made an exception just for you." The man thinks that Jinyon is a psycho. He orders his men to shot the rest of the arrows and kill Jinyon. In the meantime, Jinyon uses his swift movements and gets closer to the man. Jinyon clenched his fist and is about to kill the man. Seeing him coming, the man uses the girl beside him as a shield. Jinyon gets angrier seeing this. He uses lighting hour and attacks. His attack causes an huge impact, which breaks the home. However, he rescued the girl successfully. The man is shaking, seeing the power of Jinyon. The man thought Jinyon would be a naive young man, as he is heir of the merchant group. However, the way he fight is no different than a veteran warrior. Jinyon slowly walks towards the sect leader. Seeing him, the leader starts to beg and tries to bribe him. Jinyon didn't hear his nonsense, and he steps on the leader's chest. He then uses his hand and pierced the man's heart. The woman and his friend gets shocked to see this. Jinyon then removes his hand, says, "Filthy."